The Central American river turtle, known locally in Belize as the Hicatee, is the lone surviving member of an ancient family of turtles dating back 65 million years. It survived the extinction of the dinosaurs when a meteorite hit the planet and wiped out most of life on Earth. How did they survive? The Hicatee has the unique ability to absorb oxygen while underwater using its modified throat like a gill. It is able to survive by eating rotten vegetation at the bottom of rivers and lagoons. Unlike most reptiles, it does not need to bask in the sun and therefore seldom seen on the surface. Previously widespread, they are now found only in parts of Mexico, Guatemala, and Belize. Ranked critically endangered with a high risk of extinction, Belize offers the highest chance of survival.
Hicatees have always been, from as far as I could remember, a part of the culture, largely because of the religious belief that during the Lenten season you don't eat red meat and you eat fish, and a great alternative was Hicatee.
Traditionally, hunters catch Hicatee by harpooning or free diving. Frank Clark has dived the Sabine River all his life, and Hicatee was an important food source.
About 20 years ago, that the Hicatee population started to decline, so it's very difficult to find Hicatee. Nothing. Due to the development and more people comes in and more people looking for them, so it get more scarce.
Traditionally, people would hunt a few turtles for their own personal consumption, to now where they're hunting also for commercial purposes. Now where people are setting nets across the entire rivers. As a result, the population is critically endangered.
Rick Hudson is founder and president of the Turtle Survival Alliance based in the USA. Their mission is to save critically endangered freshwater turtles and tortoises throughout the world from extinction.
We work on the ground with recovery programs. We also work to develop captive populations as a hedge against extinction in the wild. We knew we needed to develop a program for the Hicatee, or the Central American river turtle. This species has undergone catastrophic declines throughout Mexico and Guatemala. We knew that they were probably in decline in Belize.
Rick came to Belize to help establish a conservation strategy for the species. He contacted Jacob Marling, a colleague who is owner and manager of the biological research station called BFREE. Together, they established a breeding facility as part of this strategy. The TSA's first step was to determine the current status of the species in the wild. Dr. Thomas Rainwater was brought in and with local help conducted a countrywide survey.
And so what we did was we tried to use the same survey sites that the previous person did 25 years before to try to replicate the same areas. And we headed south to begin a systematic survey of the Hicatee from the Sarstoon River all the way up through Belize to the Rio Hondo, the border of Mexico. We found a decline in numbers of Hicatees in the same areas that were surveyed 25 years prior to when we came here. But in areas that were either densely populated with people or unregulated, the turtle population declining. And in areas that were protected, they seem to be doing pretty well.
After the survey, BFREE, the Turtle Survival Alliance, University of Belize, and Belize Fisheries Department hosted a forum that led to the formation of the Hicatee Conservation Network.
So here at BFREE, we started off by building the Hicatee Conservation and Research Center. So we established 2 breeding ponds. Once they were constructed, we were able to acquire the adult turtles to basically create a founding population of adult males and females to start to hopefully breed these animals, but also learn about their diet, because it's possible that as a species like Hicatee continues to decline, they may go extinct in the wild. And if we don't have a founding population in captivity, the species is lost forever. We hired Tom Popp, who's a local Belizean from Golden Stream Village, very experienced field biologist. He's worked with researchers all over Belize for almost 2 decades, and he's really taken ownership of this project and works full-time caring for these turtles, managing the facilities, and doing every aspect of husbandry and captive care.
We planted 3 types of pigs here on each side of this pond for shading and for food for the Hicatee. This is paspalum grass. This is what they like the most.
The ponds have been designed to mimic their natural habitat. The turtles are healthy and have adapted well to their new environment. Solar panels power a submersible pump which provides clean, fresh water daily.
They like to hide under something that's shade So we build the floating island here for them to go underneath.
The point that needs to be made here is that designing and building a Hicatee breeding facility is not a casual undertaking. There's a lot of factors that have to be considered, and you have to have a good understanding of the biological requirements of this turtle. So we've taken all that into consideration here.
If their natural requirements are not met, they will get horrible shell diseases and become very unhealthy. The BFREE ponds were first stocked with 22 turtles, 2 adult females and 3 adult males, and the rest were subadults of unknown sex. An important part of the breeding program is to conduct regular health checks of every individual, and they are recaptured for examinations. The males have yellow heads and the females have grayish-brown. They are carefully placed in sacks so they can be weighed and then measured.
Perfect.
6.41 kilograms.
43.3.
13.2.
30.9.
The shells are notched for visual identification.
1, 2, 4, 7, right?
They are also ID'd electronically by injecting tiny chips under their skin.
9299.
Very cool.
Dr. Shane Boylan, wildlife veterinarian from South Carolina Aquarium, uses a portable ultrasound machine to check egg development.
We take an ultrasound probe and we go in there, we can actually see inside the Hicatee. So we're getting an internal visualization of her reproductive capacity.
This is the first time the reproductive status of a female is observed. The team is excited.
Wow, there they are. Come here, Rick. About a month before they lay eggs, they start producing albumin and yolk fat, and they make these nice big yellow bodies that are going to provide the nutrients for the embryos that they develop in the egg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We also need to know, is there a role for captive breeding in all this? And can breeding these animals on a large scale help take pressures off of wild populations? So that's one of the questions we're trying to answer here at BFREE.
Within months of the health exam, the adult female deposits her first clutch of eggs. Because of their secretive habits, virtually nothing is known about Hicatee nesting. Nesting occurs toward the end of the rainy season. Sometimes eggs are laid on land, but most often at the water's edge. The average nest contains 10 to 12 eggs. Tom goes out at night and looks for signs of turtles nesting. He finds some tracks.
There's one female turtle came out here and just sit here for a while, and then she went back in.
He finds a test hole where she may have laid her eggs, just below the water surface. The next day, Tom takes Rick to show him what he found. Tom successfully finds a clutch of eggs at the water's edge.
Wow.
It now comes clear that when the rivers rise during the rainy season, the turtles prefer to lay their eggs just under the surface of the high water along the banks.
Well, these eggs undergo what's called an embryonic diapause, so it's a dormancy period that allows the egg to be underwater. So there's no development going on, there's no respiration going on.
When the water level lowers and the banks are exposed and the temperature rises, the eggs start to develop.
As the rainy season leaves, this pond's going to recede. This will be incubating dry. So this is perfect.
Tom, with his keen eye and experience, finds the nest after the water has receded.
You can see inside now. They usually lay 10 eggs. I find the nest and take out the eggs and put them in the incubator to hatch, and we release them.
And they've been incubating for about 140 or 150 days now. We're going to handle this egg to see what the stage of development this baby Hicatee is at. Front left foot is right here.
And that's its head.
He's going to hatch any day because he's been incubating for almost 6 months now.
At least one of the adult reproductive females has laid 2 clutches in a row over 2 consecutive years. So more than likely, we're definitely getting captive breeding going on here.
The eggs start to hatch. In the wild, hatchlings dig themselves out of shallowness and make their way to the water. Captiveborn hatchlings are growing rapidly at the Hicatee Conservation and Research Center. The young require daily care and attention. They are weighed and measured every week.
101.63.
101.63.
Yep.
great.
262 grams. Right now they're doing very excellent. They're very healthy, no sign of infection. You touch the head like this, they're more relaxed.
It's true, they're closing
See?
their eyes.
Yes.
The whisperer.
A baby from BFREE has been taken to Miss Gia Valentina Martinez's classroom at St. Mary's School in Belize City. The children are delighted with this tiny creature. To them, the Hicatee becomes a reality. Miss Martinez has written a story about the adventures of a baby Hicatee to inspire her children.
He's a little Hicatee that finds his way to a special home.
Akila reads the book to the class.
Splashed into the Belize River goes a tiny critter whose name is Herbert, swimming all alone looking for a home.
He had to pass a mahogany tree, go through a net. He then got lost in the La Ruta Maya race, almost got caught by a crocodile. He went through garbage and finally found a safe home at the mangroves.
He smiled and said, "Finally, this is the right home for a little Hicatee like me." The end.
How many of you enjoyed the story? Ooh, I enjoyed it too. And the main animal that wants to eat Herbert is who?
You like to eat Herbert.
Ah, me, people. I wrote this book to inspire children, to learn about the culture of Belize, to learn about the declining of the Hicatee, how to protect and preserve them.
TIDE, a conservation organization, also works to protect the Hicatee in southern Belize.
Our activities at TIDE include research and monitoring, surveillance and patrol, and education and outreach. So we work on a Hicatee mascot in the communities where these children, their parents utilize the Hicatee. One of the components to this project is the ecological study of the Hicatee in Rio Grande. We were able to tag 11 turtles and we tracked them.
If you could hear that sound, the beeping sound, that's the turtle that's right around here. Right here, very, very close. If farmers continue to clear down riparian forest, basically they would lose Hicatee nesting areas.
We do reforestation on the banks of the river. We plant the inga and the fig tree. That is what the turtles love.
TIDE is very active on the Rio Grande River, where they do patrols looking for illegal activities, including Hicatee hunting.
There is still hope for the population, but it's a population that definitely needs some protection.
It is our responsibility to ensure that this species remains for now and for later. And for Belizeans, we are very concerned about it because it is being overhunted.
The Fisheries Department is actively enforcing laws and imposing large fines for illegal harvesting.
In Belize, we have laws that protect them. We have a closed season during the month of May. And we also have the open season, people can only have 3. But we also have size limit for females.
Here they have confiscated a large number of turtles from local hunters. Data is collected to determine size. Possession of illegal size Hicatees bring a fine of $2,000 and more than 3 at once an additional $2,000. This hunter is in trouble. He has 13. There is a fine for using nets of $500.
We are working together with the BFREE Foundation in the Toledo district. They're doing breeding trials with Hicatee and they have been successful thus far, and we'll look at donating those turtles for the breeding program.
BFREE gets most of its turtle from Fisheries Department confiscations. Their partnership is critical to the future of the species. With the additional turtles from the confiscation, the ponds are now stocked with sufficient numbers of females for the program.
It's one of those facilities that I'm sure Jacob and my department were very proud of. It's an amazing facility.
Really, our goal here is to learn as much as we can, share that information with other people, and then hopefully all together we can make some really informed decisions about what to do next.
With more adult females now in the program, Dr. Boylan returns with the ultrasound machine.
So we're going to ultrasound this confiscated Hicatee, and right away we see that she's got eggs. You can see she's got more follicles.
He continues to check more females with local wildlife veterinarian Isabel Paquet Duran.
That's a big egg.
Okay.
And there's another egg. We were finding eggs everywhere.
If the mother turtles were not saved through this confiscation, then they and their babies would have been eaten.
We're learning a lot about the female turtles, and the majority of them are gravid females. This year we could have easily over 100 eggs this year.
This is the first clutch for this year, and I'm hoping to collect more, around 120 eggs.
Although the hard work and research is paying off, the Hicatee turtle in Belize is still at an uncertain crossroads. The next 10 years could prove critical to their survival.
It's the last representative of a lineage. It's really important we preserve this turtle.
Serious decisions and choices must be made and dire actions taken now if healthy populations of Hicatee are to persist in the wild. We cannot continue to delay actions any longer. The time is now. The laws and regulation may slow down their extinction, but we need to listen to the strong messages of the next generation.
He's so cute.